Hi, I'm Dr. Morris, one of the course faculty, and I'd like to take a few moments to summarize what you accomplished in Module 4 and introduce you to what we will be doing in Module 5. In Module 4, you focused on identifying a clinical practice problem, writing a PICO question, identifying key terms or mesh terms to search for evidence to answer your PICO question, and then you selected research articles that most clearly answered your PICO questions and evaluated them in the evidence evaluation table. So that was a really busy module, and we know that. And so thank you for bearing with us as you move through that module. And so the good news now is that you've completed the first 2 steps in the EBP project, and that there are only a total of 4 steps in the project. So that means that you are halfway done. So that's a big woohoo, yay, very good. So now we've talked about Module 4 and where we were. And so now let's talk a little bit about what we'll be doing in Module 5. So as we begin Module 5, we're going to continue our work on the EBP project with the EBP 3 assignment. In this assignment, you're going to focus on your implementation and evaluation plans for your project. So these plans include the process for gathering evidence from the clinical experts as well as patient preferences, determining the feasibility for implementing the proposed practice change, discussing how you will communicate the proposed practice change, selecting an EBP model to guide the project, as well as describing evaluation and sustainability plans. Sounds like a lot of information, and it is, and you will write this up in a formal paper, and there's guidelines in the module about what are the criteria for this particular assignment. And so, as you've been doing, continue to follow those guidelines and you'll be right on track. The one point that I'd like to draw to your attention about this particular assignment is that you need to know that you're not required to actually gather evidence from clinical experts or patients. You're asked to determine the process by which you could gather evidence, as well as write some sample questions to gather the evidence. So in other words, we're not actually asking you to do it in practice, we're asking you to tell us the how you would do it in practice. Another pointer I'd like to bring out or draw to your attention for the EBP3 assignment is that we've narrowed the field of models for evidence-based practice for this course to 2. So we recommend that you either use the Iowa model for EBP or the Johns Hopkins model for EBP. The learning materials that you're going to need to complete the EBP3 assignment, which is very hard to say quickly, mind you, are located in the module. And so this includes some sample questions for assessing patient preferences and clinical expertise, because there's really not a lot of content on that in our textbook. And so we've provided you with some supplemental information. And then we've also provided some supplemental information about the Iowa and the Johns Hopkins models for EBP. So that kind of summarizes what we're going to do in Module 5 for the EBP3 assignment. We do have one other assignment in Module 5, and this is what's called the key assignment. The key assignment for actually all of the university's programs, it tracks back to a way for us to measure, us meaning the university and the college, to measure how students are demonstrating the program completion outcomes. And so for this particular course, our key assignment looks at critically appraising a quantitative research study. And so you all have the background to do this already. You've been getting some practice along the way. And so a couple things just to remind you, you learned your foundational content for how to do this in Module 3. And so in Module 3, there is a practice assignment for how to appraise a quantitative research study. So if you didn't do that before, it was okay. Now's the time to do it. And so, anyhow, do that. It will help you. It will give you an opportunity to kind of practice to see how your appraisal skills match up with, in this case, it's really what the textbook authors how they've appraised the study that they've provided as an example for us. And then the other thing I want to draw your attention to is you'll remember those critiquing questions that we used when we were evaluating a qualitative research study? Well, there's a parallel set of questions that we'll use when we're evaluating a quantitative research study. And so those are located for you on page 66 of your textbook, table 4.1. So you want to make sure that you're using those questions, critiquing questions, to guide your critical appraisal. And let's see here. Last but not least, thank you so much. You all had many great conversations going in the community forum last week, and I'm very appreciative of that. I do my best to stay on top of it and to be there to answer your questions just as quickly as I can, because I know that you all have limited time to do the work that you need to do in this course, and so I want to be very mindful of that and providing you guidance. The other shout out I'd like to do is that thank you for helping out your peers. It's very rewarding for me to see how you all are sharing tidbits, what worked for you, what didn't, helpful information with your peers. And so thank you for doing that, and keep up the good work. So anyhow, have a great Module 5. Know that we're in the home stretch for this course, so just keep up the good work. And thank you so much.